I'm ready to add loops to my multi-agent workflow here in MindPal. In my practice project, my practice workflow, this is my dinner party planner. I have a couple more videos here on my channel where I show the setup up to now, where we create just the basic input and an agent, and then the orchestrator worker node. Now that everything is working great, I want to take this to the next level. I want to create some very specific steps. Right now, what I have is an input where I describe the party that we're planning, the guests that are coming, and the dietary restrictions. And then my personal assistant presents me with 3 ideas of dinner party themes. And then I select the one I want to move forward with. And then the personal assistant inside of my orchestrator worker node is actually taking the input, taking the task, and putting all of the information together for me. The dish type, the name, the description, the ingredients, and the recipe. So my personal agent is analyzing the input, analyzing the task, and looking at the available worker agents and deciding which one is probably best to create the recipe. And so far, it does the correct thing and chooses the recipe developer agent. But now I need a list of all of the ingredients for a shopping list. I need a menu for my guests so they know what we're having. And I also need the actual recipe cards for my private chef to be able to make them. So that's 3 completely different outputs, 3 tasks, and this is where loops come in. I'm using my MindPal Assistant Custom GPT. I'll link to that down below. It's completely free to use, and you can use it with a free or paid ChatGPT account. Since this MindPal Assistant is trained on MindPal documentation, and I also trained it to make it really easy for beginners and not be super technical with a lot of jargon, I gave it the JSON file of my workflow as it is so far. And I'm asking it, do I need loops? Is that the next step? And I'm just going to let this custom GPT tell me exactly how to add the loops and what to put in for each loop. So we need to add a loop node for the ingredient list. Let's come down here. We'll add loop. We're going to call this ingredient list. We still want to label it as a loop just to make it easy on ourselves. And we need to extract and merge the all dish ingredients into a single shopping list. So, okay, here's the prompt. Okay, I see. So for each item that comes out of the orchestrator worker, we need to, we'll use our personal assistant agent for this. I think she's up to the task. And the task is generate a single combined shopping list of ingredients from the dishes below, group duplicates, combine amounts where possible, and make it ready for printing. Okay, so from the dishes below doesn't really make sense. We'll say just from the dishes. And that looks good. So running this as a test again, we're planning a dinner party for 4. We have Ross, Joey, Chandler. I chose dairy and shellfish as our dietary restrictions this time. It gave me some similar options for the ideas. I chose murder mystery dinner. So then the orchestrator worker node, inside of that, the personal assistant gave me a sassy output. If you haven't watched my previous videos, you might not know that I actually told my personal assistant that you're extremely helpful, but you're also very sarcastic because, I don't know, I think it's fun. It's fun to have a sense of humor with your AI. So it's recognizing absolutely no dairy or shellfish allowed. Got it. And then it moved on to task 2. So it correctly selected the recipe developer agent to create the recipes. That makes sense, right? So that worked out fine. I'm not seeing anything jumping out at me as being shellfish or dairy. So I think we're good there. And now that we have the whole entire list of ingredients, description, dish name, dish type, everything all planned out. The loop that we created made a list of all of the ingredients from each of the 3 different dishes. So let's add our other 2 loops and see if we can get this whole thing working. So down here, let's just go ahead and duplicate this loop since it's going to be very similar. Put this in line and connect everything. This new loop is our recipe card. So that's what we need to give to the private chef. We want 1 card per dish formatted clearly. The prompt we're going to give it is format this recipe card. So let's copy that and paste it over here. So for each item in the orchestrator worker output, we want this task to happen. Now, I think we can call on the personal assistant agent to do this because we have the recipe developer agent who already created the recipe. So my personal assistant, I would think, should be able to do that. I don't think we need the recipe developer to do it, right? And then let's duplicate this one more time for our 3rd loop. We'll connect those. This one is the menu card. So this is where we want to create just a clean, simple menu, like a printout that our guests will know like exactly what is on the menu for the night. And let's paste our task in here. So it's very similar. It just has a different task. For each item in the orchestrator worker output, we want our personal assistant to create a dinner menu card with just the dish name and description, make it elegant and fun. We have the same guests coming, and we're going to do dairy and shellfish for our dietary restrictions. We have a night in Tuscany, a murder mystery dinner, a Hollywood premiere night. Let's go with Hollywood premiere night this time. Let's paste that in, hit continue. Now our menu creator node is happening. This is the orchestrator worker where the personal assistant is figuring everything out and orchestrating the planning of this dinner party. It looks like it's double checking the inputs, which is great. I love seeing that. And then it called on the recipe developer agent, and this time it's giving the 3 different outputs. Previously, everything was in one output. I think that's fine. Moving on to those 3 loops that we just set up. Our ingredient list loop. Oh joy, another vague request. This is just part of the output, I guess. So we have our 3 separate shopping lists. I want them all to be in one. We'll have to deal with that in another step probably, but I'll ask the MindPal Assistant Custom GPT for help on that. We have our recipe cards, which look like this. This is exactly what I want it to be. If I hand this to a chef or anybody in my kitchen, they should be able to make it. They have the name, they have the description, the ingredients, everything is there for all 3 of the different dishes that we're making: appetizer, main dish, and dessert. So it's outputting the 3 separate outputs using the loops. It's doing it correctly. So now my dinner party planner multi-agent workflow is a little bit more complete. But there's still some more nodes that I want to add to this just so that I can learn what all of the modes do and make a really complete workflow. So in the next video, I'm going to add a gate node into this workflow so that by the time we get all the way down to the outputs of the ingredients, we can do one last double check to make sure that nothing we've created is going to have any of the ingredients that we absolutely cannot have because of dietary restrictions. And I also want it to be able to check for any other possible allergens just to make sure that myself and my guests are aware of them. So we're going to do that with the gate node in the very next video.